Alright guys, what's going on? Cole from Vital Fishing out here with my buddy Matt Weston here, son of the legendary Jerry Weston. But today we're going to kind of talk about what we like to use flipping and pitching. You're going to see a couple clips from Martinez, Saguaro, Canyon, so kind of some GoPro footage, but I want to go over what we're throwing and exactly kind of the specs, lures, and rod size, rod length, pound of line. So I'm going to get right into it with my setup. I use a 7.6 Johnny Morris Platinum rod. It's 7.6 heavy. It's got a lot of backbone. It's got a real fast tip, but a lot of backbone. I mean, I've swung on some fish pretty hard. You can get a lot of fish out of the thick cover. And that's what you need with the flipping stick. You need something stout with a good fast tip that you can really horse a fish out of sticks, grass, reeds. I love fishing reeds. I know Weston, he really likes fishing wood. He's a big Alamo guy, but I love flipping reeds. Saguaro, Martinez, a lot of fun. So right here, you want a high-speed reel as well, because you want to be able to flip your bait out there, and you want to get it in as fast as you can for that next flip if you don't get a bite. Also, you want to be able to get that fish out of that cover as fast as you can. You want to hit them really hard on that hook set, so you want to get their head up and out of that cover before they can take you under some reeds, under sticks, anything like that. So I'm using 65-pound Suffix 832 line. It's a really good line. It's priced affordably. It lasts a long time. It does lose its color after a while, but that's all right. Use a black Sharpie and kind of color this area up right here. You're fishing mats or anything like that, kind of dark pockets and stuff in reeds. It's going to be dark water, not a lot of light, so that black line that you draw with that Sharpie really works well. 3/4 ounce tungsten, that's what I'm going to be using a lot. That's kind of my go-to. I'll go to an ounce, ounce and a half if I really need to punch through, algae mats, thicker brush that's kind of piled up. Alamo gets real, all that wood chips kind of form, and you gotta have something heavy to get through it. 4/0 is what I'm usually using. 4/0 Owner Beast, or excuse me, not Owner Beast, it's an Owner Jungle Hook. EWG. You can use the flipping hooks, the straight shanks. I'm not a huge fan of them. I feel like the tip of the hook comes out a lot exposed and it gets caught on reeds and sticks and stuff like that. So I really like that EWG. I'll snell knot it, kind of see it catches on that, but when it actually, so when that weight comes down, it pops that hook up. So every single time you're getting roof of the mouth, good penetration. I'm always snelling when I'm flipping. Usually I'm using braid. I will use 20-pound fluorocarbon if I'm fishing real clear water, but I really like braid. I like power fishing. I love getting those fish out. Some of the lures I like to use, I really like the Pit Boss by Berkley. Green Pumpkin, Green Flake, that's a great one. I love my blue flakes. I'm a really big fan as well of the blue colors. So you got your Okeechobee Craw, blue sapphire, black and blue. I really like that for that dark stained water. It really shows up well, and it's overlooked. A lot of guys aren't throwing it, and it really does well, even in Arizona. You think of it like a Florida kind of bait, the black and blues and Okeechobee Craw, but it really works well in Arizona, and I don't think enough guys are throwing it. So that's kind of my flipping setup. So I'll kind of let Weston take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, he went through and kind of gave you the more in-depth, baits, hooks, all that stuff. So I'll kind of let that get out of the way, and I'll go more into, like, when we were at Martinez, I was off the back of the boat, he was up front. So kind of what I'm looking for, and kind of, especially on grind days where you go hours and you're not catching fish, and catching good ones when you do catch them, but what do you look for when you're not catching them? I know it could be, kind of disheartening when you're out there and you're not catching them the way you should be or the way you think you should be. So biggest thing here, I've got a Shimano Crucial flipping stick, paired with a Daiwa Tatula 8:1 gear ratio, I believe, but 65-pound test braid. But the biggest thing, we pretty much have the same type of setup. I have a brush hog on here in California 420 color. Had really good luck on that at Alamo and some other lakes. But when I'm behind him, I'm kind of judging. I'm trying to see when he's flipping. I'm trying to see where I can flip that he hasn't gone to yet. And I feel like when you're fun fishing, or you're fishing a tournament or something like that, getting in areas where your co-angler or your buddy hasn't gone to yet, that's key, because you don't want to keep flipping in the same spots. So I'm kind of one flip ahead every time I'm thinking about that while I'm already in a flip. Other than that, I mean, the second thing that comes to mind is I look around when I'm in that kind of mindset. What can I get into that most people won't even try getting into? Pockets, shade pockets. When we were at Martinez, we kind of figured out a little late, but if you could find a shade pocket, that's where they were. Once the sun came up midday, we finally figured out that, you know, don't pitch in the sun because it's not worth it. You could flip into any shade pocket, and that's where we're getting majority of our bites. You know, and as the sun went 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all that stuff, it varied, and the fish were adapting to that. So where the shade pockets were at noon, it was different from 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and it finally paid off once we got that. But, you know, it's the little things. You know, anybody can go out there and flip and cover water doing it and move the boat, put the trolling motor on high. But, you know, biggest thing is, you know, I try not flipping where he already has or your partner already has, and I try flipping, you know, I don't think anybody's gone in there. You know, it's a mindset, it's a mental thing. So if you keep those in mind, I think you're going to get bit a little bit more.
100%. And just to kind of, good points by Weston, but just kind of touch on Martinez. We were really only getting bit and on a certain kind of structure and a certain kind of bank. It had to be kind of a gradual bank. These fish were getting up ready to spawn. Some were actually already spawning, post-spawn. They were kind of all in different phases depending on what backwater you went into.
Right.
And you really had to find that alive grass mixed with a good set of reeds. A little timber mixed in was nice, and you had to find that good bank. So those big long points with reeds, they weren't spawning, they weren't out on that. You had to find that nice gradual bank that was mixing with reeds. You'll see this I think it was 4 1/4 or 4 1/2 I caught at Martinez. You'll see kind of the bank come in, and there's a little pocket, and then the reeds start, and he was tucked right back in there. Another thing you're looking for when you're fishing like reeds and stuff like that, you'll see that 5 1/2 from Swaro. You really want to find, especially this time of year when the reeds are all kind of dead, grass is dead, it's starting to come back. If you can find that patch of alive grass or that alive reeds, something different, exactly. That's the most important thing. Something different than the rest, especially like Alamo upriver. What is it? It's this bunch of laydowns, trees.
Right.
What are you looking for?
Honestly, the biggest thing, and you know, I would honestly say more times than not, you know, I remember one time when I first started fishing Alamo with my dad, we were, you know, he was whacking them and I wasn't, and we were trying to figure out why. And he was catching them, and good fish too. It wasn't the sticks, it wasn't the stick ups that he was catching them on. If you flipped and there was a nice piece of wood that was thicker, that's where you're gonna catch them. It wasn't the little tiny stick ups that you were catching. You can catch small ones doing that, but a lot of times, you know, if you're going down 1.5 miles of bank and you see, you know, something different, and you see, you know, the big foundation, the stump itself, you know, that's where he was catching them on. And, you know, and you go there, you know, 2 weeks later, it might be different. Maybe they are in the stick ups, but, you know, it's always changing. And it's, once you figure out exactly what they're in, it makes it fishing a little bit more easy when you're flipping and punching and all that stuff.
And then you can also skip a lot of water and look for those key spots that you're catching them. Catch a lot more fish. You got to take notes. I mean, you really got to kind of pay attention to what they're doing and what they're eating,
Right.
And how they're eating it. You know, sometimes they'll just rip the rod out of your hand. Sometimes they just tap it.
See your line move.
Yeah, you got to kind of pay attention to all those things. But we'll get into today's video. Just some GoPro clips of catching some good fish flipping. It's probably one of my favorite ways. I love power fishing. I love yanking them out with heavy braid. I know Weston does as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stay tuned to the video, and I appreciate you guys watching. Oh, nice. Big ones. That's a good fish. Grab him. Thank you. Cool. That's right in a little pocket. Alrighty guys, 4.3 there. That's one of the trip. Look at that tail, dude. It's freaking bloodied up. Cool. All right, guys, number 2 right there, kind of onto a little pattern. Nothing big, but flipping that river bug right there. What's that called? Like bloody craw or something?
I think bloody craw,
Bloody craw, yeah. A good little color. I need to grab me another bloody craw. Right in that mixture of wood and reeds. That's kind of been the quick ticket right now. Get out of there. Oh. Oh goodness, dude.
What happened?
Such a bad cramp in the middle of that. You see it?
Was he in there?
He's in that shade pocket right there.
Good one.
See that jump?
I did.
Goodness gracious, dude. Oh my. Crunched it. Right in that little reed pocket, dude. I think they like that color.
Do you have any more? Do they have like any more red?
I got a lot, dude.
Nice.
They're rolling. You know how beat up she is.
It's fat though.
Oh yeah.